Well, good evening and welcome to the February 8th study session of the Chandler City Council. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Hartke.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stewart.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Lopez.
Here.
Councilmember Rowe.
Here.
Councilmember Ellis.
Here.
Councilmember Orlando.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Clerk. Starting off with our agenda, we have a few scheduled public appearances. I'd like to invite Vice Mayor to join me up front. And City Manager, would you start with the retirement recognitions, please?
Sure, Mayor. So Matt Burdick, Communication and Public Affairs Director, has the retirement recognition tonight.
Thank you, City Manager. Mayor, members of the council, I'd ask Craig Younger to please come forward and be recognized on his years of service and upcoming retirement. Craig's role as a public information officer keeps residents, businesses, and employees informed about city news, events, and programs. Tonight, we recognize him for 25 years of service and congratulate him on his career achievements. Craig served on Chandler's delegation that achieved the All-American City designation and was Chandler's first ever web editor. He handled the dedication for City Hall and coordinated public tours at the event. He's an excellent writer and thoughtful storyteller who paints pictures with words through his extensive research and knowledge of topics. He has a passion for social media, technology, and film. His reviews and media critiques are relied upon by our staff. Craig has always been a tremendous asset with an ever-present positive attitude, knowledge of Chandler, and outstanding communication skills. Thank you, Craig, for 25 years of dedicated service to Chandler, and congratulations on your retirement next month.
Our next item, we have a proclamation with Black History Month. And where is our proclamation? Oh, Corey, thank you. And I'd like to call up Reverend Victor Hardy, also Director for our City Chandler, to receive this. And Councilmember Stewart, thank you. Whereas the African American community in the city of Chandler celebrate African American Month, and whereas the community has come together to support and celebrate Chandler's rich and proud African American heritage through words, song, and arts, and whereas South Chandler Self-Help, BASE, Chandler for Change, and the Chandler Men of Action, alongside the city of Chandler, believe that truth cannot be denied and that reason will prevail over prejudice. And whereas we want to celebrate the ideals and creativity of those who came before to enrich us into the future. And whereas Carter G. Woodson once observed that if a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. And whereas we invite the entire community to take part in the celebration of African American community events, now therefore I, Kevin Hartke, Mayor of the City of Chandler, hereby proclaim February 21st as Black History Month. Reverend Hardy, you have some comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I want to thank you for, first of all, for the celebration of Red of the city that celebrates Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Black Month heritage. 407 years ago, stated one of the greatest sermons ever recorded. It is a shame that these words still have to be repeated again and again. But then again, Dr. King repeated it so much that his people told him to never repeat that speech again. Dr. King knew he had to continue to repeat the message. And so I stand here once again to talk about African American Month and its origin and how far we have come and how far we will go. Since that time, Dr. Carter G. Woodson created this month in 1915. The growth and this culture is amazing. It is not my position to change minds or to give accurate information. It is my plan to inform and educate. This is the time of year that people ask, why is there an African American month? We tend to forget the rich heritage, cultural inventors, newsmakers, and others who have made a mark on the history of this country. Other cultures celebrate their months, but it is only during February that the question is asked, why? The pride in my people makes me celebrate those of history and those whom will guide us into the future. I am proud of those who set the stage for this conversation to right the wrongs of this country. From former Mayor Corey C. Payne to former President Barack Obama, from Crispus Attucks to Vice President Kamala Harris, from LaVon Woods to Mary Payne. This city has made strides to elect the first African American school board member in 2004, following up with a second school member in 2018. And in 2020, we elected 2 African American city council members, one the first woman of color. In 2020, our school district appointed the first African American high school principal at Chandler High School. One of the greatest sights that I ever seen was to watch our police chief walk with Black Lives Matter. We still have a long way to go, such as the injustice of criminal justice system, the killing of Black men by police still continues. We need to promote more qualified African American male voices, such as head coaches, news anchors, chiefs of industry, and teachers. There are lies that African American men are lazy, and most African American women are on welfare or assistance. We don't want jobs, and we are all on drugs. But from the NAACP to Black Lives Matter, to sit-ins to the National Urban League, to BASE, and Chandler for Change, and of course, South Chandler Self-Help. We have to be consistent in what we are doing. Consistent is what we will be explaining. Why? Henry Aaron is the mark of consistency. He hit a lot of home runs, but it was his consistency at the plate that made him an all-star 20 years in a row. So we will continue to explain and continue to speak honorably of our brothers and sisters. We will be consistent in our faith because of his grace, because we have to tell the story. We have to be better than where we were before.
Let's take a picture. Thank you, Reverend Harding. Our next item was brought to us from Councilmember Harris, recommended this to us, is that we want to recognize Chandler High School and Hamilton High School football teams. I realize it might be a little dangerous having both of you in the same place here, but you guys are all professionals, worthy of great accolades, and we're glad that you can join us tonight. So if I could have Chandler High School come on up on one side and Hamilton High School come up on the other side. You know, Chandler High School won the state championship. Hamilton was a runner-up, but it was so great to see Chandler so represented across the state. So why don't we start with Hamilton, and if you want to introduce your players, and then we'll switch over.
Okay. Thank you for the honor for being here tonight, and Mr. Harris for putting us at the forefront of Chandler, and we're very proud to represent. With me tonight is Jeremy Kitamura. He is our offensive coordinator. Tim Doherty, our defensive coordinator, who was the assistant coach of the year last year and is up for assistant coach of the year again this year. Grayson Stovall, 2022 offensive lineman. He was all-state, and he's already committed to the University of Arizona, and he's going to go into aerospace engineering. And then finally, Deuce Davis. Deuce was first-team all-state. He's up for many awards, like Arizona Defensive Player of the Year, and Newcomer of the Year, and Defensive Lineman of the Year. He was second-team All-American Max Preps for the junior class. And he currently has offers at University of Arizona, San Diego State University, and if he gets on the phone tonight, Army. So congratulations.
I believe I saw a tear in the eye of Councilmember Lopez when U of A was mentioned twice. So. And our state of Arizona champions.
Thank you. My name is Rick Garrettson. I'm the head football coach at Chandler High School, and we appreciate the opportunity to come here this evening and represent Chandler High. I've got some of my players and our principal and athletic director with us. I'll start off with Jim Culver at the end. Our athletic director, couldn't do things without him. And then Mr. Michael Franklin, our first-year principal in the pandemic era at Chandler High. They're both awesome to work for. Directly to my left, I have Hank Pepper. Hank Pepper is the 6A Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He was the Premier Region Player of the Year. And he's also one of the top long snappers in the country. And he'll be taking his work to Michigan State University. We got some Big Ten people. Next to him, I have Tavina Hare. Tavina Hare was a 3-year starter for us. He was also Max Preps All-State and All-Premier Region. He was a huge asset to what we were able to do the last 3 years of winning, a 5-peat. And Tavai will be taking his next step at Northern Arizona University. And next to Tavai, I've got Brandon Buckner. Brandon Buckner was the National Football Foundation Player of the Year. The first time ever in their existence that a defensive lineman has received that honor. He was consensus All-State. He was a All-American at Max Preps, first team, and he is a one-man wrecking crew. We've got two of the top defensive ends in the state here, both at Hamilton and Chandler. And Brandon is taking his next steps to Eugene at the University of Oregon.
Well, I can't say again what a tremendous pride that we have in our city of Chandler and two of the most premier schools in the entire state, if not nation. And I want to thank you all for representing us well, your schools well, and you make what makes Chandler great. So thank you all. Let's take a picture.
Mayor, may I ask that if we could come down and take a picture also with them?
Let's just take a picture with us here, please. Tell us what you need to see. What do you want us? All right, and our last public announcement tonight has to do with the Arizona Institute of Architects Award and the Chandler Public Safety Training Center, the shade structure there. So we'd like to call up Peter Bugg, our visual arts coordinator, to accept this award. Peter.
Mayor, I'd like to call up Peter Bugg, our visual arts coordinator, and Keith Hargis, our assistant fire chief, to accept the award. The shade structure at the Chandler Public Safety Training Center, called Our Nature, was recently recognized by the Arizona chapter of American Institute of Architects, winning under the design category. The structure consists of 3 leaf-like awnings that were designed to provide reprieve from the sun and create a calming energy for all of the first responders who use the facility. CoLab Studios designed the art piece with the guidance from the Chandler Arts Commission, as well as members of the police and fire departments. Congratulations.
Thank you. My name is Peter Bugg. Thank you to Chief Hargis, Chief Raymer, Paul Alis, the Arts Commission, and just everybody who's going to use it, because it's going to be a really big asset to the city of Chandler. You were great to work with.
All right, let's take a picture. All right. Very nice. Congratulations. That concludes our announcements for this evening. I could feel the football enthusiasm behind me here. Council, there's only been one item called in for presentation discussion. That was item number 4 by Councilmember Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. I was walking up here to talk. This is another innovative, another thought process, another collaborative effort that I thought we should probably share with the public tonight, because it's really a cool project. Anybody that's been on the 101 and stranded, you'll know what we're going to be doing to make your life a little bit easier. Is that fair?
That is fair. Thank you. Through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, thank you for bringing this project up. We are excited about it. The item before you is a 3-year pilot project along the 101 to test integrated corridor management, or ICM, as it relates to unplanned closures on the, this particular one is for 101 freeway or ramps. The pilot project is federally funded. It'll be administered through ADOT and jointly managed between ADOT and the Maricopa County Department of Transportation. It is a regional effort that extends for the entire Loop 101 corridor, which runs through, and I'm going to cheat on this one, Phoenix, Glendale, Peoria, Scottsdale, Tempe, Mesa, Chandler, as well as Salt River, Pima Indian community. So all those agencies are part of this project. It has 3 main components of the project. The first is to develop traffic signal timing for various closure scenarios. The second is to explore and establish an interoperable communication during ICM events between MCDOT's REACT team, and REACT stands for Regional Emergency Action Coordinating Team, ADOT's Incident Response Unit, Arizona DPS, our local agency law enforcement, and local agency traffic management centers or traffic operations. We have worked with the traffic unit of PD on this project, or on this agreement, and we will continue to work jointly with them throughout this project. The third component of the project is if an incident does occur on the 101, the REACT team works with the state and local agencies as well as traffic operations staff to establish the detour routes and support safe diversion of traffic off the freeway and then back onto the freeway upstream of the incident. So that's exactly why we're doing this, as Councilmember Orlando had mentioned, is to improve safety and security of the incident scenes itself, to avoid secondary type crashes, and to minimize congestion for the traveling public. MAG is kind of at the forefront of this ICM development, and we are excited to be part of this innovative region and multi-jurisdictional project that will hopefully showcase the benefits of making smart investments in transportation systems and management and operations. If there are any questions, I'm happy to
Yeah.
entertain those.
Mayor, with your indulgence, when are we going to implement this?
So this is funded for fiscal years 22 through 24. Between now and then, we are going to be working with McDOT staff to develop those timing plans that we can proactively implement as those are needed. So we're got to do a little prep work before we actually implement this.
Yeah, what I really like about this, obviously the coordination, but the key is, you know, I stay there and I see more cars coming on, more, and I'm saying, well, you're just making it worse. And the key to this is to stop those cars before they get on the freeways early enough so that we don't exacerbate the problem, divert them, and then hopefully get that cleared up. So that's a great program. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions related to this? Seeing none. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do know I didn't call them in, but just a couple items to our audience that are worthy of note is that we will be further assuring our water security in Chandler. I want to thank John Knutson and others for coming up with some innovative plans that are represented here and being funded tonight as well as we will be also putting additional dollars into alley dust abatement. That's always kind of an ongoing question and issue with some of our neighbors. So thank you, Neighborhood Services and others that have been part of that project. So Council, unless there are any other items to bring forth, that concludes our study session. We will be resuming in the exec chamber.